welcome back to episode 5 of the Boatfeed. Is that it now? Cinco de Mayo is coming up too. Episode 5 of the Boatfeed, where we bring you the best of the 2017-18 Volvo Ocean Race via the videos, via the multimedia that they're sending in off of these amazing boats going around the world at breakneck speed, crushing waves and doing all sorts of crazy things.
Yeah, we're out of leg 6 now. Of course, we're looking at leg 7. You know, Southern Ocean Lake's coming up. People are looking forward to, these boats just getting down to the 40 to 50 latitudes, getting cold, getting the really white water over the deck. But to get there, we had to get through leg 6. It was a doozy.
It was a doozy. It wasn't the sexiest. There's some beautiful imagery, some amazing islands, but just not the sexiest leg for a lot of reasons. But before we even go there, let's go somewhere else. Let's go to the train, the Wolverine Express that I took over from Troy, Michigan to beautiful Chicago today.
Is that what they call it, the Wolverine Express?
Yeah, they call it the Wolverine Express. Right. Chicago Yacht Club here at the Belmont Station, this amazing barge. But I wore this. This is my MUSTO Express shirt, whatever it's called. And I've told you about this before. As a guy who travels all over the world, has to have one nice shirt or two nice shirts to go out to dinner, and they're never going to look good because they're all bundled in some sailing bag. This shirt has not been ironed. It was sitting crumpled up on me underneath a winter coat.
Wait a minute.
It's 20 degrees out.
Did you wash it since the last boat feed?
I'm not going to answer that question. But it does look
marginal.
Good. Here's the crap. I'm serious.
Marginal.
Listen to me. This thing was crumpled for 5 hours, 5.5 hours on the train, and it looks like it's brand new. You got to get one of these things, or go get some foul weather gear, like
good stuff.
Equips
I was going to say,
Volvo Ocean Racers.
I mean, we're getting into the Southern Ocean leg. We're going to be looking at the equipment. This is where your foul weather gear, your HPX, the full blown, water garment that MUSTO really engineers for the Southern Ocean. That's where it really comes into play. And not just
the Southern Ocean, but Cape Horn. I mean, this is a brutal leg.
It's going to be cold. It's going to be wet. You're going to want them. So MUSTO, thanks for supporting the boat feed. Thanks for sponsoring the Volvo Ocean Race. Also, thanks to INMARSAT, the official satellite communications provider for the Volvo Race. And they're the guys that obviously are helping the OBR send back all this awesome content, which we're going to get to here in just a minute. But they also keep the crews safe with their satellite network.
You might be surprised, too. Go over to inmarsat.com. Check out some of the new gear that they have. I just went through the site the other day, and the changes in the satellite offerings over the last 3 years is unbelievable. I mean, the stuff, the speeds, the costs that they have today are so much better than they were a few years ago.
The new global express stuff
doesn't
that they
matter
just launched into
what your boat is. Why not have this?
A lot of the planes that you're going to be on nowadays, the faster connection speeds because of the global express systems that they're implementing. So
it's
pretty
unbelievable.
Cool.
You Skype with your family. Just how crazy is that?
Yep.
Be out in the middle of the Pacific Ocean and Skype
cool.
with your family.
It's cool.
It's ridiculous. So check them out, inmarsat.com, and head over to Facebook at MUSTO, and why don't you post a link of this little show on MUSTO's Facebook page. Tell them how much you appreciate their support of innovative sailing content around the world, doing great things for the sport.
So what do we got, Clean? What do we got?
Well, look, man, we had an exciting leg. I think the way we'll run this one is let's talk about the leg a little bit, then we'll go into our video picks.
Yep.
And then let's discuss some of the things that we're looking forward to in the next leg and what we think is going to happen.
Sounds good.
Good?
Yep.
Well, look, this leg was tough, and I guess it's tough for a few reasons. You know, there was this general malaise over the fleet after the tragedy in Hong Kong, and you can't just wash off the death of another mariner. It's something that sticks in you. So there's generally this down feeling amongst the fleet, and then you had this leg that was cold and upwind for like the first week and a half. I mean, it was brutal, right?
Yeah, well, it's traditionally upwind, coming around that part of the world. You got to
trades
slog through it, trade winds. But then I think that you've seen in both leg 4 and leg 6, there was a transitionary leg in between there. But you saw terrible doldrums, right? Like really bad days on end. The guys are floating around there. So
and hot.
Yeah, it was a tough leg.
Yeah.
It was a tough leg. But then, you come into Auckland, I still remember coming into New Zealand. It is one of the prettiest coastlines you'll ever sail past, and it's cool that they did it.
It goes on for a while, too. It's not like you just come into Auckland.
It takes a long time to get down in there.
I
mean, it takes a full day to go down the coast there, and it was gorgeous. So, really cool leg, different leg. I mean, one of the things I've seen from the OBRs, I think that they're getting into a really good stride. This is about the point in the race where you really start to kick into gear and you're starting to get more creative. You're starting to have, these guys have the basics down pat, right? Like you're starting to experiment a little bit. And I think that this is the good leg visually that leads up into the Southern Ocean leg. And we'll talk about it more here in a minute. But the Southern Ocean leg is where you make your money. That's what I say, and that's what I. The way I view it is most of the photos of mine that got published out of the race, they come from that leg. So you want to bring it.
It's interesting that you say that, though, because you say that's where you make your money. To me, the real chance to stand out is actually in this last leg, in the Doldrum legs. Why? Because whether you do what you do or whether you do what I do, I do commentary for sailing events around the world, live TV commentary. Matt's done edited videos for a long time, slick, glossy stuff. Whether you do what you do or what I do, there's one thing that makes it really easy, which is lots of breeze. There's another thing that makes it really easy, which is really good characters on the boat. The question is, who's going to shine when you have neither of those things? This leg had upwind work, which is terrible, not only for sailing, because you're only going 9 knots or whatever it is, but for working, it's brutal, right? Bash, bash, bash for days on end. Horrible, seasick. It's tough to get anything done. So you had that. Yeah. Then you had super light air, which is almost impossible to get anything good during the light air. And then you finally had some breeze, but then it was just super wet. It wasn't like really exciting, really free conditions. So that was just wet reaching.
Yep.
So none of them were good conditions, but the guys who could really stand out did.
Yep.
Like Jeremy really stood out. Jeremy Licauti stood out.
Yep.
He had the characters.
I totally agree with that.
But also he was able to sort of turn these long, difficult times into narrative.
Yep. Well, I think you saw guys starting to really get creative in the Doldrums this time, and even in leg 4. I mean, think about the whale video that came out.
Oh my God, I love it.
And then, shoot, we need to include this in our picks.
This week.
We still have to talk about Drone Gate. We have to talk about the James Blake flying through the Volvo.
Well, you put it up on the Boatfeed Facebook page, but no, we haven't talked about it. You have that.
That was a Doldrums video, so.
And we've been begging for that. I mean, that was a direct answer to us.
Did he fly it through? Was it walked through? I mean, I think we have some pretty good clues, but does it matter?
Do a little analysis?
Does it matter? So, yeah, that's a video we're going to pick apart here. So
cool.
Awesome. Well, let's get into the raw content and see what we got.
Let's talk about our picks, man. I think in general, like we said, it was a tough leg.
Yep.
For so many different reasons, but specifically because there just wasn't that much great content. There was a lot of light air and a lot of upwind, and those are not good
opportunities to grab great content. Yeah. I think that they made really good, they made do with what they had, but it's not a good situation to shoot in. So,
before we get into it, do you think that you got 6 guys out there? Do you think that? Like, is there a point where it just gets tough, or halfway through the race now? Is there a point where if you're stuck on a boat that maybe you don't love the guys, or they're not super open, or they're not doing well, or whatever, like, is there a point where you just where you're looking at yourself going, I don't want to be here anymore?
I think that there's points where you come in the race where you're wondering why the hell you're out in the middle of nowhere, doing what you're doing, and you wish you were someplace else. But I also think that you're gonna part of enduring that is the same thing that the guys on board are going through, and so that's the main distinction, is that everything you're feeling is the exact same thing that the sailors are feeling at any time. And so how do you capture the story inside of that?
So you talk about changing crews around a lot more than happened in previous races. I mean, a lot more, and part of that's because you got more crew, you got smaller crew in general, less veterans, so they're going to get injured more because they're not as experienced, and they might not necessarily know where they can push their body. So you just got less experience means you're going to have more injuries. So that's one reason. And then there's different weights, and you want different, more drivers for this leg, or more strong people to do stacking for this leg.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
So that's all changed a little bit, and it's, for me, like, I'm looking at all these videos, and I've spent hundreds of hours watching videos and getting to know everybody. And I sat there on the train going through these videos for this thing tonight, and I'm like, where's this guy, and where's that guy, and who's this guy? And some of them are great additions, but like, I feel like it might make continuity a little tougher.
I think that you don't have as maybe a familiarity with the team as you might have had in previous races. So, but then you're also seeing some kind of like, sailing stars rotate in and out, some faces that you really want to see. So which one is it? I don't know how the balance goes, but it's definitely different this race with how the mix is going. You're seeing, I think that what's cool from an OBR perspective is you're seeing that the OBRs are rotating and they're adapting to the teams that they're with. I mean, Jeremy is a really good example. We'll get into it more with the Scallywag content.
Yeah.
but you have an awesome crew that loves to talk to the camera, and he's playing to it. And he's playing to it different than Conrad Frost did. You know, if Conrad's taking the leg off, and I'm not saying that Conrad did a bad job, he's been doing a great job, but they're different ways of telling the story. And how do you adapt to it as a storyteller? How are you showcasing their story? Which shots are you picking, and how do you relate with the guys? Like, that's what you're seeing, you know, who gets on with what crew, and how does that dynamic play out?
All right. Well, let's have a look at our first video of the day. I don't know what you have keyed up, but I was thinking maybe we'd look at that meme.
Let's check it out.
Well, listen, I'll preface it by saying, like, sailing has never had a real meme that's gone viral, right? And like,
do we need one?
Every sport in the world has had a meme. I mean, like, why isn't it? I mean,
what would it be for this one? I don't know.
And let's define a meme if you're older than 40 years old. Like, a meme is something interesting on the internet. It's usually a picture or a short video that you can stick your own face on or your own situation on, and it'll be funny. Well, we've never really had one. And there's been a few, you know, in the forums and Facebook and Sailing Anarchy, whatever, over the years, you know, the fifth mode and some other stuff, but not a real.
So here's the challenge: is who can take this and make something out of it.
This is a meme waiting to happen, and I know that you guys, someone can GIF this up or take a screenshot and do some memeing.
All right,
this is a meme.
Check it out.
Watch this video.
Morning, I was trying to do some stuff up on the bow there and try and tidy up the boat a bit, and he just thought it was the time to clown around and do some dancing. He's thinking. Crazy, we've got a race to win here.
First of all, how did you do that? How do you do that?
Yeah, no, but the sun's coming from back here. There's a guy standing here, and
it's so cool.
Yeah,
really
cool.
Clever. I don't know who. I want to know who came up with the idea first of all. And I just that image of the guy doing the work in the shadow, like, that's a meme. It's a meme. Please give me 4 seconds of GIF. Let's put some text on that.
Who can come up with the best GIF for this? Do it.
Something cool. You will win a Boatfeed T-shirt if
but
we ever get one.
But it's cool. I want to say, like, turn the tide.
Yeah.
They don't care. Like, they're just having fun on the race, and so they're coming up with stuff like this, and you love it. Like, that's a huge help to an OBR when they're doing their job, because I guarantee what happened here is they're just sitting on the rail. They're like, oh, hey, check this out. Like, why don't we do this? Can we pull this off? And they're just trying to pass the time.
We're going the same way for how many days?
Yeah. Days.
But I mean, I think, like, for me, for this leg especially, when I wanted to see a video that would make me giggle, I always went to Turning the Tide or Scally. You know?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Well, let's check out something from Scally.
All right. So I think, what, you got a Scally? Or
I got a Scally. I think you got a Scally.
All of our other picks, I think, are Scally and Axo.
No, I think we got an Axo in there.
What do you got?
We got the Axo. We got the James Blake. But let's go. Let's check out my pick from Scally.
Right, pose for it.
Within 200 miles of the finish, you can't be stealth, okay? We have 225 miles to go.
Yeah.
So if they show up on the sked, they're more than 25 miles ahead of us. I think they're a lot less than that, which means they won't show up on the sked. Nothing to do with land or friggin' anything, okay? Does everyone understand now?
Joey's going with this land between us and Auckland.
Good.
Just explain your theory.
Mate, how did I round up some of the dumbest human beings on the planet to go around the world with? Oh, here we go. Ta-da! Yeah, they're still stealth. Yeah. Oh, Dee's only 9 miles behind us. Yeah. You might be able to see her. She's 10 miles.
You see something on the horizon.
At 2:53.
No.
Maybe. Nah, it is.
It is, isn't it? 100% that's a rig. We're trying to tell ourselves it's a container ship. I think it's D.
We want to believe it's not D, but it is D.
Keep those lovely 112% rolls going, John.
I love this video. This is one of my picks because I mean, I think that Scally's got these awesome personalities and they don't care either. Like, they're like turn the tide, right? Like, they're going to say whatever they want to say. And just first of all, I thought that the shots were beautiful. I mean, not just the above deck shots with the sunbursts and all that. That's gorgeous. But even the below deck stuff. I mean, that right there, like, you have the moon. That's a hard shot to get. Like, you have to stay pretty stable to get that. the sunburst, they're like, stop down really far, so you get this really nice starburst out of it. But even down below deck, I love that Jeremy knows these guys well enough that he knows where to be. He's positioned himself for the sked coming in, which is something that we always wanted to do last race, but you usually can't get it unless you know the guys really well. Yeah. And I mean, the banter going on with Whitty and the guys on board here, it's honest, and I just love how well Jeremy set it up.
This guy though, Whitty, you could go back and watch 18-foot skiffs 15 years ago. He was funny then. Yeah. And he's only gotten funnier,
He just doesn't care. And that's what you want.
But no,
you
he
want
does
guys
care. He's looking for laughs. He's looking for approval. He's looking to keep his sponsors happy. But
maybe.
Mostly, he just likes to take the piss.
That's what it is. He doesn't, but he doesn't care how obnoxious he is or what he says or how he says it. And he's just going to be himself. Yeah. So that's what you're always looking for.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah. All right. Let's check out the other one from Scally. This is your pick.
All right.
Over it. On the trim there, he's still going forward a little bit on us there.
Guys in the bow, downstairs, just get them all to come and get right on the bow now. Get them out of there and get them right on the bow. Right now, if we get rolling now, we'll lock them out.
Bessie.
Still got 138 miles of this rubbish. Stressed? I'm not stressed out. So I'm down here. I might have a snooze actually. Just got to wait for the right opportunity. Be patient. Patience.
I just told him there, I was sitting up on the stack and I said to get down.
Just relax. Just drive the boat, mate.
Just chilled out. Just chill. If we wanted to be like that, we should have been like that at the start of the leg.
Yeah, yeah. So just drive the boat. You're fine. Just drive the boat. Go.
Yeah, 90 now would be good.
That's super coast slow through here. He's trying to press, just press in the puff. Yep. Needs more. Joey?
As a boat racer, that's what it feels like. That's what a really tight race is for a very important trophy. And that one goes on for a long time. That video is, 6 minutes long or something like that?
It's a long video, but it's cool. You're into it. You're in the middle of the decision making. You're in the middle of the sail trimming. And just to be clear, this happened to us coming into Auckland last race. I remember it like it was yesterday. It's beautiful, right? But it is tense because of all the bays, all the peninsulas, just trying to find the best way into Auckland. And what's cool about this is that Jeremy put himself right in the middle of the action and rolled on the whole thing. And I mean that's a tremendous editing job, right?
That's what I was thinking. Is that editing job?
You have to cut through so much footage in order to distill it down to this, and then tell a story. And then keep in mind that they're coming into Auckland like less than 12 hours, so he doesn't have much time to do that in. Yeah, pretty impressive.
Yeah. No, it was great stuff, and just this shot. I mean, I love it.
That's the best part of the video.
But the tension and the fact that any one of us who sails on a sailboat can feel ourselves in that situation. It's very
such
relatable,
a cool
and
shot.
I love it. It's great stuff.
All right, going from this, we're going to go back to the Doldrums, and we're going to check out Blakey's controversial drone gate video. Check it out. Did he or did he not fly it? I don't know. Let's check it out.
All right, and to set this one up, we've been challenging these drone guys. I've been saying it for about 2 years now, and Matt and I brought it up in a previous boat feed to fly the drone through the boat.
It happened.
Let's see what happened.
All right.
So what's the drone gate? What's the controversy?
Well, I mean, all right. So at first glance, when I saw this, I was like, oh my gosh, he actually flew it through the boat, right?
Can you freeze it?
All right, check it out.
Okay.
Freeze it right there. Now, I mean, first of all, they're drifting, but this is a pretty good approach, right? It takes a lot of control to get the drone down this level. Now check out where he goes. That takes a lot of skill.
Yeah.
And I'm not, and he's flying it right here, right?
Sure.
Let's watch what happens. Whoa.
Oh, I missed that the first time around.
Now watch it go down the stair.
Yeah, no, that's being carried.
Right there.
It's going downstairs there.
I mean,
Didn't happen.
I wasn't there. I don't know what happened.
Didn't happen. No question. I'm.
Does it matter?
It doesn't matter at all.
Because it's cool. Like, you've never seen this perspective of a boat before.
I love it. You know what? Good on him for doing it.
I love this. And then back up through the hatch. And now you're, I mean, this actually took a lot of drone skill.
There's the
You're flying right here.
As soon as he lets go, he turns and bangs.
How long do they practice this? I don't know. But
here's the cool thing. The bar has now been set. And now all someone's got to do is send it through. And why not send it through with another one over here hovering and shooting it?
Yeah. Well,
so
hey,
you can cut away. You know?
I don't know how you went up this, but you got it. You got half a race left. So one of you guys figure it out.
Sam's coming back, right?
Sam's back this leg. But
all
are
right,
you really
Sam.
going to do this in the Southern Ocean?
Well, that would just up the ante even more.
Cool. All right.
Can you do it at 20 knots? That's the big question. When the boat's
Sam,
moving 9 feet in every
Sam,
direction.
we're throwing down the gauntlet.
All right. It. Okay. Drone gate's over.
Last video after drone gate is the Brunel. Is it on board Brunel?
It's my reveal. Yeah. This is actually a great video, but like, you know, when a video does something that I just stop and go, I have to have that one. It speaks to me, and the video has lots of other great features, but this reveal in the middle of it is the best of all. So again, I think as you see from my pick of the leg, this race that we've been focusing on character building and drama and all that stuff, it's still very important, but it's starting to feel like a race a little bit. That last, not the drone one, but the one before that, I think it felt like we were watching a commentator race, you know? Yeah. And the race is starting to become more and more of a factor, and the drama is starting to feed into the other things. So this one is very dramatic. Let's have a look.
Slower than us, yes. It's moving, and a bit lower.
Down. I'm afraid, obviously not now. Oh, well. Come on! Get out, mate!
Hey, New Zealand's a little lower than this.
So obviously, you know, you can tell there's another boat here. You can tell
I couldn't.
there's
When I
action.
first watched this, I couldn't tell that there was another boat
It's
here.
hard. You see something. Like, is that a moon? Is that a nav light? Right?
The giveaway's coming up. Right there.
Bam. There's
Hang
the
on,
reveal.
hang on. Here we go.
And it all
This
builds
shot-
up very slowly, like
right
Halloween, right? You know, like
You can see the mast instruments, and then
bam. I love it. In part because that's what it feels like when you turn a spotlight on a boat at night, and in part because the buildup was so slow and soft and red, and then bam, big white light with a red boat underneath it. So really cool. And then we have more really good battle. This whole video is really excellent, actually. But that's my favorite part.
Jan did a great job with this, and he did not set this up. This happened. He was up at night when you're usually supposed to be editing. He was on deck. He knew that there was a boat close, and this all unfolded the way that you saw it, with, you know, both boats shining spotlights back at each other.
It wasn't like it was
great.
Jan's camera light that was lighting him up. This was like boat on boat action.
But he was there, and he was in it, and he knew that there was something going on, and he picked out the best parts in order to tell that.
And of course you get the line, boys, New Zealand, it's a bit lower.
That was a really good Kiwi accent.
Was that? I didn't know if that was Kiwi or
Spot
London
on.
or
Who knows
Aussie.
what
I'm
it
not
was?
really
You know,
sure.
don't do that again.
All I can do is say, I'm beach stairs, bro.
All right. What do we got next?
I think that's it. We got our winner, which is
Jeremy. I mean,
Jeremy
I think
for sure. Yeah.
I think I think that all over. I feel like the barge is moving, but really this has just been tequila the entire day.
No, it's water.
Jeremy for sure.
With honorable mention going to whoever carried that drone through the boat. Before we even get into the Southern Ocean preview, who's coming back? You said Sam's coming back. What's the story? Do you know?
I really don't know, actually. Okay. I think Conrad's going to be back. I think Jen's coming back. I mean, you follow these guys.
Jen need a little recuperation.
Hopefully her face is feeling a little bit better after that. So, yeah. No, but looking forward to having all 7 of the teams back. Fingers crossed. Vestas looking like they splashed back in the water. So, should be all good to go for an epic Southern Ocean leg.
So 7 boats and Vestas certainly have to prove something for sure.
They're still in it.
What? I mean, you've done this leg. You've done this exact leg, right? Auckland to Itajaí. What are the give me 3 words that best describe it.
Wet, fast, and just insane. Like, I think maybe memorable. That's probably the third one, and not in like a lovey-dovey way. It's like you're going to be completely pushed to your limit, and you're going to be glad you did it when you're done with it. But when you're doing it, you're like, why are we here?
Brutal, huh?
It's a cool leg. It's the best leg of the whole race. Everyone always says that, but it's a leg where anything can happen. Keep in mind, this is the leg that in the past 2 editions, someone's broken a boat. You're going to see bigger waves than you've seen anywhere else around the world. You're going to go around Cape Horn. You're going to probably, set the 24-hour speed record during this leg too. And, you put all those things together. That's what's cool about it from the race perspective. And the sailors clearly love this.
Yeah.
But then I think from the OBR perspective, this is where you are pushing yourself creatively to the limit, because anytime you've got the types of water that's coming over the deck like you're going to have in this leg, that's where you're going to get the spectacular imagery that this race is known for. So how do you establish yourself as a photographer, as a filmmaker in the midst of that with what's already been done? What can you do to maximize? And that's what I kept telling myself during this leg. Like, you're hating life. Like, you're cold, you're wearing 5 or 6 layers trying to go to sleep. To be honest, I actually slept better during this leg than any other leg. And that's just because you're like wedged in like a little cocoon. But
it's also light out until midnight, or like it's late.
So let's make a point of that. This leg, the OBRs are going to be facing something that they might have only seen in leg 3, and that is they're going to cross like I think 6 time zones. Jesus. And you're going so fast across those time zones, the sunrise is going to keep coming earlier and earlier every single day. And so to catch your body up with it, you really can't.
Yeah.
So you're exhausted. And just to be clear, sunrise and sunset are the best times to shoot. They still are on the Southern Ocean, right? But you're taking 30 minutes to get ready for every time you're going on deck, maybe longer, 30 minutes to get undressed and undone. And then you fit everything else into there, and your day is busy.
There's no way to get on deck fast. You can't just jump from your bunk to the deck, because then you're done. I mean,
no, if it's wet on deck, there's no way to get on the deck fast.
Yeah.
So, and you're exhausted. If something breaks, the boat's usually slow, so you can get on deck fast. But if it's a normal day,
good point.
If it's a normal day, you're having to it takes a long time. Even going to the bathroom, you're thinking about it for 30 minutes. You're laying there like, God, I gotta take a piss.
Let me ask you this question. I remember when I did my little OBR on a Carkeek 40 in 35 knots up the ass to Bermuda. And I did a video and sent it in on a satellite and everything else. But I remember editing that video in not Southern Ocean waves, 12-foot waves, maybe 30, 35 knots of wind. I remember it took about 7 hours to edit like 40 seconds or 60 seconds of video. And I remember one of the things that punctuated it was I had to take my shirt because it was so hot down below, but you couldn't open the hatch because then you would sink the boat. So I remember at one point I was getting so nauseous that I just had to take my shirt off and throw up into my shirt. It was the only option, So seasickness, is that a factor for everybody in this situation?
Let's just say anyone that says they don't get seasick, lies about it. Yeah. Whether you throw up or not, like you all feel it at some point. So
how much efficiency does that take away? For me, it made me
depends on
600% slower. I mean,
it depends on the person. I think the hardest thing is just getting around on the boat, because you're rocking it down, a 30-foot wave smashing into the next one. So
wearing a bunch of bulky
gear. You're going
gear.
this way, and then the boat's going, side to side, and then the stack is just In my case, they built the stack up around the entire aft of the boat where my bunk was, and I'm not kidding. My space was like that big to climb into my bunk, and it was like up here. So once you're in, no one knows if you're alive or if you're on deck or like where you are. And I know like many times you're like, hey, is Matt on board still? And you know, you'd shout back, but it's a different environment. So yeah, I mean, so I think that it's extremely rewarding. One thing that we did want to point out is the equipment that is going to be used. And we already talked about the MUSTO HPX gear, and it's incredible.
Ski goggles and helmets with face masks now.
You got your seals. You want to make sure that your neck and your wrist seals are all good to go. You want to make sure that your wellies are all right. Water ingress is huge, and even when you got 6 layers on, you want to make sure you're staying dry in the bottom.
Once it's in for the rest of the leg, right?
Exactly. Yeah. So you got that, but then also from an OBR perspective, you're shooting with water housings. So I mean, this is the one that I use. Everybody's got their own, you know, kind of system that they like to use.
Pretty robust thing here.
This is an Aquatech Elite 4, designed for a 5D Mark IV. But just to point out, so regardless of what system the guys are going to be using, I mean, you want to have something that not only keeps your camera dry, and this is going to be a dive housing, right? So it's going to completely keep your camera dry. And if you look at the back of it, you can still control almost all the functionality.
I love that it's
on
all
it.
fully analog. It's like plungers pushing buttons.
It's designed by a guy in some warehouse that just likes to fiddle with it, and it's nothing high tech. But that's what you want.
Yeah.
And the other advantage is for rigid casings is it keeps your camera safe, because there's so many times where this is going to get thrown around the boat and get knocked out of your hands, and it's still going to come through, and your camera's going to be all right.
And what is a 5D with the lenses that you would need cost for a race like this?
I mean, if you're doing just the
$5,000?
camera, you're going to be spending $4,000 just on a camera and a lens, and then you're going to be spending money on this housing, which
Probably
is about
another couple
$2,000.
grand, yeah.
So, but you're going to have it for a long time as long as you take care of it. You can adjust what kind of lenses you want with it. It works well. So.
And this is also something you could shoot in the water. Like if you were going to, like after your Volvo career's over and you're going to go shoot regattas, you can get in the water with this thing.
Totally. So just to give, you know, the viewers a perspective of what you're hauling on deck, the way that I ran myself on board is I had 2 cameras. I had one camera that lived in here, and then I had one camera that didn't live in there. And both of them had lanyards on them with a little carabiner or a snap shackle. And so the reason I had 2 cameras is so I didn't have to spend the time transitioning cameras in and out.
Right.
One, it takes time, but 2, it increases the chance you're going to get water in the camera.
All right.
And then you use the snap shackles to anchor it to your bunk. So when you broach, and you will broach, your camera doesn't go flying, 20 feet. So.
All right. Well, they're not a sponsor, but they make a great product. Check them out. Aquatech. What about, I guess maybe my biggest question of all is this, is now they've already done a Southern Ocean leg. Mm-hmm. They already know what happened in the last race in the Southern Ocean. What's in the well? Like, how do you go to the well and find something new?
Everything's in the well, because you never know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
Last race, one of my favorite photos was Parco, out on a halyard, like changing, putting a changing sheet on the fro, and I don't think that shot had been taken in from that perspective before. And I think, who knows what's going to happen? Are they going to see icebergs? Like, I don't know. Are they going to, what kind of, how many Chinese drives are going to be, and who gets hurt? Hopefully nobody does. But how do you?
Someone's going to get hurt. We know that. I mean, statistically.
There's enough variables. That's the key thing. This leg serves you up the variables that are going to give you the chance to shoot. So,
I think that the iceberg thing gets really interesting when you bring drones into it, because that's another one of the things that we just haven't seen yet.
All right, who can fly a drone around an iceberg?
Or through the little one of the little arches in an iceberg.
All right, the gauntlet's laid down twice now. So What else we got?
So Auckland start is in next weekend?
March 18th.
Yeah.
Auckland starts Brazil.
Watch it live on Facebook at Volvo Ocean Race, and we'll be watching along with you. And head over to the Boatfeed on Facebook for Matt's pics of great photos and other things that pop up. And I'm trying to throw some stuff up there too. You can see all of our videos from this week on that page.
And thanks to all of our sponsors, MUSTO, INMARSAT, both for sponsoring the Boatfeed, making it possible. Keep up to date with us, and let's see how the Southern Ocean leg goes.
Next time, we're going to have one of the sailors on here, and we're also going to speak to North American importer for MUSTO, Brandon Flack, about their gear and what it means to MUSTO to be such a big part of this race. But maybe you guys can head over to Boatfeed on Facebook and let us know which skipper or crew you'd like us to speak to. How about that?
I like it. Do it.
All right. Facebook, the Boatfeed, and we will see you very soon, folks. Thanks for joining us again.